Jung at heart. Why Carl Jung's Red Book sits on Stuart Ullman's desk in The Shining. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining is a visual and symbolic feast, with every frame packed with details ripe for obsessive analysis. One of the most fascinating Easter eggs is the presence of Carl Jung's Red Book on the desk of Stuart Ullman, the Overlook Hotel's chipper and suspiciously oblivious manager, during his first meeting with Jack Torrance. The Red Book, Jung's magnum opus of visionary psychology, is no casual prop. It's a psychological Pandora's box, brimming with archetypes, shadow selves, and cosmic chaos. The fact that Ullman, a man who's all smiles and handshakes while casually glossing over axe murders, has the Red Book prominently displayed, suggests that the Overlook Hotel isn't just haunted, it's an archetypal battleground for the human psyche. Let's dive into what this book says about the hotel's nefarious history, its ghostly inhabitants, and why Jung's theories turn this seemingly mundane office into a stage for cosmic existential horror. The Red Book, Jung's dive into the depths. Before we tackle what the Red Book means for the Overlook, let's get a handle on what it actually is. Carl Jung's Red Book is a deeply personal, illustrated manuscript documenting his confrontation with the unconscious. It's filled with dreamlike imagery, archetypal visions, and symbolic journeys, all of which seem tailor-made for the Overlook's brand of insanity. Archetypes galore. Jung's Red Book is a playground of archetypes. The shadow, the anima animus, the wise old man, the trickster, all of which are represented in The Shining's characters and ghosts. Is the Overlook merely haunted by restless spirits, or is it a stage for humanity's deepest psychological conflicts? The shadow and the Overlook, Jung's concept of the shadow, the repressed, darker parts of ourselves, aligns perfectly with the Overlook, which seems to amplify and manifest the shadows of its inhabitants. Jack's descent into madness isn't just supernatural, it's a psychological implosion aided and abetted by the Overlook's archetypal manipulations. Why is the Red Book on Ullman's desk? The placement of the Red Book in Ullman's otherwise bland corporate office suggests that this isn't just a hotel, it's a psychological crucible. Ullman, as the Overlook's gatekeeper, isn't just hiring a caretaker, he's initiating Jack into a Jungian nightmare. The hotel as a collective unconscious. If we take the Overlook as a metaphor for the collective unconscious, then the Red Book is the blueprint for its labyrinthine horrors. The ghosts are archetypes, the rooms are repressed memories, and the hedge maze is a literal map of the psyche. Ullman's desk, with the Red Book front and centre, is the control panel for this psychological death trap. A warning or an invitation? Is Ullman's copy of the Red Book a sly nod to the dangers Jack is walking into? Or is it an invitation? Welcome to the Overlook, where we'll take your unconscious fears and turn them into homicidal mania. Either way, it's not exactly comforting. The nefarious history of the Overlook, a Jungian analysis. The Overlook's past, built on the bones of Native Americans, stained by murder and populated by spirits, reads like a case study in Jungian archetypes. The Red Book provides a framework for understanding the hotel's malevolent allure. The hotel as a shadow factory, the Overlook doesn't just attract darkness, it creates it. Jung's shadow archetype explains why Jack becomes violent, why Delbert Grady succumbs to murderous impulses, and why the hotel's history is one of endless bloodshed. The Overlook amplifies the shadow in everyone who enters it, turning repressed fears and desires into reality. The archetypal ghosts, each ghost at the Overlook, represents a Jungian archetype gone rogue. The twins are childlike innocence turned sinister. Lloyd the bartender is the trickster, offering Jack temptation in the form of booze and bad advice. And Delbert Grady is the wise old man inverted, doling out homicidal encouragement instead of sage wisdom. Jack's descent, a Red Book case study. Jack Torrance's Unravelling is a textbook example of a Jungian psychological collapse. The Red Book helps us decode his descent into madness as something more profound than a ghost story. It's a confrontation with his own unconscious. The Overlook as Jack's psyche, the hotel mirrors Jack's internal struggles from his alcoholism to his feelings of inadequacy as a writer and father. His interactions with the Overlook's ghosts are less about supernatural interference and more about his shadow taking over. Room 237 as the anima, Jung's anima archetype, the feminine aspect of a man's psyche, takes a grotesque turn in room 237. Jack is drawn to the woman's seductive allure, only to be confronted with her true, decayed form. It's a moment of psychological reckoning, where desire and horror collide. Ullman as a Jungian gatekeeper. Stuart Ullman, with his cheery demeanour and hidden red book, is more than a hotel manager. He's a stand-in for Jung's wise old man archetype, or perhaps its shadowy counterpart. The smiling trickster, Ullman's sunny exterior, masks his role as the Overlook's recruiter. He welcomes Jack into the hotel with a handshake and a sales pitch, but his knowledge of the hotel's dark past and his blasé attitude toward it suggests he's complicit in its psychological games. The architect of madness. By placing the Red Book on Ullman's desk, Kubrick hints that he understands the Overlook's true nature. He knows it's a psychological death trap, but instead of warning Jack, he sends him straight into the jaws of archetypal chaos. Kubrick's hidden joke. The Red Book as propaganda. Kubrick, ever the trickster, may have included the Red Book as a cheeky nod to the intellectual overthinkers in his audience. By placing Jung's magnum opus in Ullman's office, he essentially dares viewers to dissect every frame of The Shining as a psychological allegory. A meta-commentary on analysis, the Red Book's presence is a wink at the obsessive analyzers who would later dissect the film. Yes, Kubrick seems to say, you're right to see archetypes and psychological horror everywhere. Now go knock yourselves out. A prop for the ages, by using the Red Book as a prop, Kubrick elevates Ullman's desk from mundane to mythical. It's not just an office, it's a Jungian command centre where the Overlook's psychological torment is carefully orchestrated. Conclusion: the Overlook as a Jungian nightmare. The presence of Carl Jung's Red Book on Stuart Ullman's desk in The Shining is more than a visual detail. It's a Rosetta Stone for understanding the Overlook Hotel's nefarious history and psychological horrors. By grounding the film in Jungian theory, Kubrick transforms the Overlook into a labyrinth of archetypes, shadows, and existential terror. So the next time you watch The Shining, pay close attention to Ullman's desk. That Red Book isn't just a prop, it's a clue, a joke, and a warning. Enter the Overlook at your own risk, because once you confront your shadow, there's no turning back. And if you ever meet a cheery hotel manager with the Red Book on their desk, run.